Have you ever caught yourself staring in the mirror, pulling at your jeans, and thinking, when did this happen? Because for a lot of people over 50, the backside that used to look full and lifted starts to flatten out, not just a little, noticeably. The sides lose their curve, the upper region sags. What used to fill out a pair of jeans now just doesn't. Most people assume it's age, or they think the solution is obvious: just do more squats, more bridges, more glute work. But here's the part nobody's talking about. You can do all the squats in the world and still see zero change in shape, not because you're not working hard enough, because your pelvis is in the wrong position. When your pelvis tilts forward, shifts sideways, or rotates, all of which become more common after 50, it breaks the communication line between your brain and your glutes, especially the gluteus medius. That's the side glute muscle, the one responsible for the roundness and fullness most people are missing. When your pelvis is off, that muscle simply doesn't fire the way it should. The signal gets lost, and no amount of repetitions fixes a signal problem. So, in this video, you're going to learn two specific movements built for adults over 50. The first one resets your pelvic alignment. The second builds real strength and shape in the right muscles, correcting flatness from the inside out the way it actually needs to be addressed. Before we get into it, if you're over 50 and watching this, I genuinely want to hear from you. Drop your first name, your age, and where you're watching from in the comments. This is more than a video. It's a community of people choosing to move better, feel stronger, and not accept decline as inevitable. Why your glutes won't respond even when you train them. Let's clear something up first, because this is where most people get stuck. The assumption is flat glutes equal lazy glutes, so the answer must be more exercise, more activation, more soreness. But that logic skips a critical step, and it's the step that explains why so many people train consistently and still don't see results in this area. Your pelvis is the base of your entire lower body. Think of it as the control tower for everything below your waist. When it's sitting in a neutral, balanced position, your glute muscles, all of them, can fire properly, develop properly, and do their job. But the moment that pelvis tilts too far forward, drops to one side, or subtly rotates, the whole system gets thrown off. What happens next is almost automatic. Your body's smart. It doesn't stop the movement, it just reassigns it. Your lower back muscles take over, your thighs compensate, your glutes, particularly the gluteus medius on the sides, get sidelined. They stop being recruited, and over time, without consistent activation, they shrink and flatten. You won't feel this happening. That's the frustrating part. You might walk every day, you might do your bridge exercises, you might hit the gym, and still look in the mirror and wonder why nothing's changing back there, because the muscle isn't positioned to engage in the first place. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy confirmed exactly this. In people with anterior pelvic tilt or lateral asymmetry, a sideways pelvic shift that's extremely common after 50, glute activation was significantly reduced even while performing standard glute exercises. The movements were happening, the right muscles just weren't doing the work. The American Council on Exercise backed this up with additional research, showing that muscles can only strengthen effectively when the surrounding joint is in its optimal position. Without that alignment, the body defaults to compensation, training the wrong things, reinforcing bad patterns, and leaving the target muscle untouched. This becomes more pronounced after 50 for several reasons: more time sitting, less varied movement throughout the day. In women, hormonal changes after menopause affect pelvic stability. In men, declining core engagement leads to postural drift. The result is a pelvis that gradually loses its neutral position and glutes that gradually lose their connection to movement. So, before we strengthen anything, we have to restore something. We need to reestablish pelvic alignment and rebuild the neural signal that tells the glutes they're needed. That's exactly what the first exercise does. Exercise 1. Wall hinge and lateral shift. This is not a squat, it's not a stretch, it's a retraining drill, and that distinction matters. Most people skip straight to strength work when they want to fix flat glutes, but if the foundation is off, the strength work lands in the wrong place. This movement comes first because it gives your brain and your glutes a chance to find each other again, particularly the gluteus medius, the side glute that creates the rounded, full shape most people are trying to restore. Here's what this movement accomplishes. It repositions your pelvis into a neutral, centered alignment. It gently activates both the gluteus maximus, your main glute, and the gluteus medius on the sides. It restores balance between the left and right hip, which often becomes uneven with age, and it starts to undo what years of sitting have quietly created: tight hip flexors, a forward-tilted pelvis, and glute muscles that have essentially gone offline. When you shift your hips side to side during a controlled hinge, you're doing something specific and intentional. You're recentering your pelvis over your base of support. You're teaching your core and glutes to work together instead of independently. And you're waking up stabilizer muscles, the gluteus medius, the deep hip rotators, the obliques, that rarely get targeted in conventional exercise. A 2021 study in physical therapy and sport found that low-load pelvic repositioning drills improved glute symmetry and recruitment in older adults after just 2 weeks of consistent practice. 2 weeks, not months, because this isn't about building mass, it's about restoring a connection that the body is ready to rebuild the moment you give it the right input. How to do it? Stand about 6 to 8 inches in front of a wall facing away from it, feet shoulder-width apart, toes turned slightly inward to open the back of the hips, knees soft, arms relaxed. Rest your hands gently on your hips. Begin a hip hinge. Push your hips back until your backside lightly touches the wall. Your torso will lean slightly forward. Keep your spine long and straight throughout. From that hinged position, shift your hips gently to the left. You should feel your right glute begin to engage. Return to center. Now shift slightly to the right. Feel the left glute activate. Return to center, then press through your feet and slowly return to standing. That's 1 rep. Aim for 8 to 10 slow, controlled repetitions. Rest, repeat for 2 sets total. A few important coaching notes. Think of the lateral shift as a gentle pelvic rock, not a torso twist. Keep your weight evenly distributed between both feet throughout. Move deliberately. Precision matters far more than speed here. If your balance feels unstable, place your fingertips lightly on a countertop or chair in front of you. After 50, the pelvis tends to become less mobile and more fixed in a compensated position, especially in people who spend extended hours seated. This drill doesn't just loosen things up, it recalibrates your system. It gets your hips back underneath you and reminds your glutes of the role they were built to play. This movement may feel small, the results it creates are not. Once your pelvis is aligned and your glutes are firing, you're ready for the second movement, the one that builds the shape. Exercise 2. Wall-facing squat with calf raise. Your foundation is set, your glutes are reconnected, now it's time to build. This is the movement that puts shape back into the sides and upper portion of the glutes, the area that flattens most obviously with age. And it does it using nothing but a wall, your body weight, and controlled intentional effort. The wall-facing squat with calf raise isn't a standard gym squat. It's a posture-correcting, glute-shaping, balance-building movement that works specifically with the body mechanics of adults over 50. It targets the gluteus medius more directly than conventional squats, builds simultaneous strength in the calves, hips, and core, reinforces upright posture and the pelvic alignment you just restored, and improves the kind of functional balance and coordination that matters in everyday life. The wall in front of you isn't just for support, it's a constraint, and constraints are useful. Facing a wall forces you to maintain a tall spine because there's nowhere to collapse forward. It keeps your knees tracking over your toes instead of caving inward. It loads the posterior chain, the glutes, especially the medius, in the exact way you need. And adding a calf raise at the bottom deepens the challenge, activating the stabilizing muscles of the ankle and lower leg that support your balance in real life. A 2022 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that integrated lower body movements with balance components improved both muscle tone and fall resilience in adults over 60, even without external weights. This movement is built on exactly that principle, teaching your glutes to work in real-world conditions where strength and stability are always needed at the same time. How to do it? Stand facing a wall about 6 to 8 inches away, feet slightly wider than your hips, toes angled outward 10 to 15 degrees.
Place both hands lightly on the wall at shoulder height, not for weight support, just for orientation. Begin lowering into a squat, chest up, knees tracking over your toes. Go as low as feels comfortable. Ideally, your thighs reach a 45 to 60-degree angle. You don't need to go all the way to parallel. At the bottom of the squat, rise onto your toes. Lift both heels, engaging your calves and squeezing through your glutes. Hold at the top of the heel raise for 1 to 2 seconds, then lower your heels slowly and deliberately. Press through your feet to return to standing. 10 to 12 controlled reps. Rest, 2 to 3 sets total. Coaching notes: stay tall throughout. Your face and knees should never actually touch the wall. Consciously push your knees slightly outward at the bottom. This is what directly activates the gluteus medius. Slow the movement down. Depth is less important than control. If you want more of a challenge, hold the bottom position for an extra count or two before raising your heels. Why does this matter specifically after 50? Because this isn't gym strength for the sake of gym numbers. This is functional strength, the kind that makes walking feel easier, standing up from a chair feel effortless, and losing your balance feel less likely. It trains your brain to fire the glutes first, not the knees or the lower back, and it directly addresses the root cause of hip dips and side flattening by loading the gluteus medius in the way it was designed to be challenged. Done after the wall hinge and lateral shift, this movement lands on a properly aligned, fully accessible set of glutes. Together, these two exercises form a complete system. Restore alignment first, then build strength and shape on top of that restored foundation. No gym required, no equipment, no weights. What this is really about. Here's the honest truth that most fitness content never says out loud. You didn't lose your glutes because you got lazy. You lost them because your body did exactly what bodies do. It adapted to the patterns you gave it. Long hours of sitting, less varied movement, gradual postural drift that happened so slowly you never noticed until one day you did. That's not a character flaw. That's biology, and biology responds to input. What you've learned today isn't about chasing a number on a scale or working towards some idealized version of what your body should look like. It's about reclaiming something functional, pelvic control, glute activation, and the physical independence that comes from a lower body that actually works the way it's supposed to. When your glutes fire properly, movements become smoother, your posture shifts, your gait changes. You feel more stable going upstairs, more confident walking on uneven ground, more capable in your own body. And yes, your backside fills out again because the muscle that shapes it is finally being used. You don't need a gym membership for any of this. You need 2 movements done consistently with intention. That's the entire prescription. If you've spent time frustrated by a flat or sagging backside, even after trying everything you've been told to try, let this be the moment that reframes the problem. You weren't doing too little, you were missing one crucial step, fixing the foundation before loading it. Now you have both pieces. Use them. I want to hear how this lands for you. Which of these 2 movements are you most ready to try? Or maybe you've already experimented with pelvic alignment and noticed something shift: your posture, your strength, your comfort and movement. Share it. Drop your name, your age, and your location in the comments, because there are thousands of people over 50 watching this right now who need to know they're not alone and that it's not too late. Build that community. Be a part of it. If this helped you, send it to someone you care about, because stronger glutes aren't just about how you look in the mirror, they're about how freely you move through your life.